So I had sort of stopped doing these because I'm lazy, but someone mentioned to me that they liked them, and so I felt guilty and decided to make another one. And I read this book recently called The Goaltenders Union, and it is by Greg Oliver and Richard Kamchen. That is so good. It's so good. I mean, I have my weird goalies thing in that I think they're all precious moonbeams that must be protected at all costs. Oh, you can see my cow. It's Queen Bees. Say hi, Queen Bees. She's passed out. She's always drunk. Anyway, so the Goaltenders Union is, it's kind of like a encyclopedia of goalies a little bit, as well as, you know, a history. It doesn't cover a ton of modern goalies. There's really only 6, and it's an interesting selection. It's Martin Brodeur, Marty Trucco, Brent Johnson, Robert Luongo, Ilya Bryzgalov, and Jonathan Quick, which, I mean, are all interesting goalies to talk about, but it's, you know, with a 30-team league, you know, obviously they had to make some selections. But so basically it's split up by era of goalies, and you can't really read it, but just trust me, that's what that says. And they have essentially a selection of goalies from every era that they talk about and tell stories about, as well as kind of placing them in their contexts of what it was like to be an NHL goalie, you know, what the different rules were, what the different regulations were, how comparatively difficult it was or was not to make the league. Though I'm in no way trying to insinuate that it is easy to make the league now with 30 teams. That's 60 jobs, you know, for a goalie in the backup. Whereas, you know, back in the day, there was significantly fewer positions open that you could potentially make a run for. So it's very cool. It's a easy read. It's not something you have to read cover to cover. You can pick it up kind of as you go. I actually read it not all at once, but in various selections as my interest kind of pulled me. I want to take this book to prom and kiss it on the dance floor. So if that's a recommendation for you, then you should read it. And okay, I'm going to read one of my favorite things. I feel like I've talked a lot, probably on the podcast, almost certainly not in the 4 of these that I've done, about Gump Worsley, who I just have such an aggressive fondness for. They're sort of talking about, they talk a lot about the relationship between goalies. There's a really cool section that talks about why not more goalies are coaches, and the difference between the way that a goalie sees the game and a way that a forward sees the game, or a defenseman sees the game, or even the way a coach sees the game, and the way that goalie coaching has evolved. There's a really funny kind of anecdote about the way that I think we understand goalie coaching, and the way that we understand goalie, being a goalie as its own position, requiring its own expertise and its own, you know, I don't want to say staff. It makes it sound like every goalie has like a GLAM squad following them around. I'm going to need to take about 5 minutes to think about what life would be like if every goalie had a GLAM squad following them around. Can you imagine? Sorry. Okay, I'm back. We're all back. I hope you take that image with you as you go about your day. Anyway, it's just interesting. It both covers kind of the history of individual goalies and the way that the position has evolved along with the game. So, with no further ado, also it includes this beautiful picture. So, hey guys. Sorry about the playoffs this year, Carrie. Anyway, I mentioned Gump Worsley like 25 minutes ago. This is what my fave Gump Worsley said. Pete Lepresti was used to clueless coaches telling him, "I don't care how you stop it, just stop it. I'd rather you look bad stopping it than good letting it in." To his surprise, when he arrived as a young kid at training camp to play with the Minnesota North Stars, veteran cager turned pseudo goalie coach guru Gump Worsley told him essentially the same thing. "I remember after 2 days of practice, he finally comes down to the bench," began Lepresti. "He leans over and says, 'You're working too hard with this. Just stand there. They'll hit you. They're not that smart. The net's only 4 feet by 6 feet. You just have to outthink them. They're not that smart. I did it for 30 years. And it never hit me until after I was done, but he was absolutely correct. I would say that if Gump was alive today, he would look at all the movements these guys do, and he would have a heart attack." So, read this book if you like goalies and history, or if you like crotchety old grumps. You'll like this book. Oh, I forgot to mention my favorite part about it, which is that they also talk to women goalies. That is really interesting, hearing their perspective. So I would rate this 9 out of 10 shootout rounds, which is a measurement system that is completely arbitrary and which I just made up. Molly's book reviews, where the rules don't matter and points mean nothing. See, I told you, like, you just have to go down more.